Alright everyone, welcome back to Tabletop Live. We're doing a new short battle report. We're going to try something a little different today. We're going to do a little more in-depth for the deployment turn 1 and turn 2, just to cover some of our decision making and why we did what we did throughout the game, just to see how it impacts the rest of the game. We're going to be playing Retrieval Mission. This is Mission 11. We're practicing for a tournament next weekend, so this is what the terrain will look like at the next tournament. So Price is very, very nice and let me practice a couple rounds against his Death Guard with my Space Wolves. And sure, we'll cover the mission. Alright, so for the secondaries, the Wolves are doing Engage, Oath, and Banners. As always, Oath is a good one because I can get Oath from behind these walls on the L. So it's a pretty easy one to score. Engage is going to be a little rough because I have to push up. And then Banners is also rough because these objectives are completely in the open. There's no way of holding them from inside a ruin. So we will both be trading and sacrificing our infantry. So I'm not very sure about this one just because I'm going to be trading my infantry a little too early. And then Death Guard, Price went for Grind, Minimize Losses, which is the mission-specific one, and Spread the Sickness. Do you have any reasoning behind them?
Yeah, grind it down because I've got a pretty killy army. And like Jamie said, he's going to have to come out of the box if he wants to hold objectives. So I believe I can get that maybe for 2 to 3 turns. So I'm counting that as my, if I can get 9 points out of that, that's a win. Minimize losses, I'm Death Guard, so super durable. That one seems fairly straightforward. And Spread the Sickness, that's the old standby. So if I can, again, get out there and if I can get 1+ over the top of Jamie, if I can get 4, that's a super win for me. So it's going to be a fun game.
All right, so this is the Wolves list. This is what I've submitted for the major tournament that we have next weekend. It's the same characters as always. I've got my Chapter Master with Hunter, Imperium Sword, and Frost Claws. My Librarian with Rights of War and the Armor of Rust. The Chaplain with the Benediction of Fury. He now has a Catechism of Fire for his Litany for the +1 to wound just to support my firepower a little bit. In the troop choices, we have a squad of Incursors, 1 squad of Blood Claws, and a squad of Assault Intercessors. Elites, same ones, 3 units of Wolf Guard with my Storm Shields and Lightning Claws. I apologize for the new squad that hasn't been painted yet. I'll get that done. We have the 2 Redemptors with Plasmas. Both have pods on the top. Contemptor with the Cyclone Missile Launcher and Volkite. And in the fast attacks, we have 3 Suppressors, 3 Attack Bikes just to help me with the AdMech matchup because I've been struggling with that a little bit. 1 Cyber Wolf just because they're fun. And then 1 Speeder. So I dropped 1 Speeder and a Suppressor squad plus some upgrades to be able to put in my attack bikes. And let's see how they perform.
All right, here we are with Price's Death Guard. We're going to have a single battalion. These guys are going to be Mortarion's Anvil. Going to be led by my Lord of Contagion. This is the Warlord. He's got the Gloaming Bloat, and I've given him a Manreaper with the Orb of Desiccation. That's going to boost out his Contagion ability. Well, that's what he gets anyway, is boosting his Contagion ability. Then the Malignant Plaguecaster, we've given him an additional relic, and that's going to allow him to know an additional power and heal once per game. We got a unit of 5 Plague Marines. Sergeant's got a Plasma Pistol, and then we got a Plague Flail in there. Otherwise, those guys are pretty normal. 2 units of 10 Poxwalkers, so they can get out and spread the sickness. Then the purpose of my elite section, I've kind of leaned heavily. Chaos Contemptor Dreadnoughts are very popular right now with the twin volkite. You saw Jamie has one. So, and forgive us here, we're just testing this out. But there's a lot of talk on the internet that these guys are good. So we're going to find out how good they really are. So we got 3 of those guys, had to pay a CP for each one. So they got twin of the volkite culverins. And then I've got a unit of 5 Deathshroud Terminators. And we've upgraded the Sergeant with the Chimes of Contagion. And this way, those are the guys that are going to get the boost to their Contagion range. Then I've also got Foul Blight Spawn, giving him the Revolting Stench Vats. So that's going to boost out his ability to make my opponent fight last. Jamie's going to want to get in there. He's going to want to punch. So I'm going to try and slow him down, maybe counteract that Armor of Rust. And then the Tallyman, the Tollkeeper. Now this goes hand in hand with those Contemptor Dreadnoughts. It's going to be able to give one of those guys +1 to hit. It's going to give me exploding 6s for everybody within range of him. And then those guys are core, so that also benefits well with the Lord of Contagion, re-rolling 1s. It's just a strong fire base. I've got some doubts about it because how mobile is that going to be? How many objectives am I going to be able to hold with, 455, 600 points in my army? I don't know. But moving on, fast attack, we've got a fated bloat drone over here on the right. Now, this guy doesn't have the flamers. I've actually given him the heavy blight launcher. This kind of combos with the shooting. You're able to reach out and tag a unit 36 inches away, and then you can spend a stratagem to reroll ones to wound against that target. So again, if you've got a big target you're trying to bring down, like some of these dreadnoughts, that just helps increase the damage output of the army. And then last but not least, 2 units of Mephitic Blight Haulers. These guys are just good. They got multi-meltas, they got missile launchers, they can fight, they got plague weapons, they've got defensive stratagems, all the way around. They're just pretty darn good. So here we are. We'll see you guys on the top of 1.
All right, so we are deployed. We're about to do the roll-off. We don't know who's going first or second yet. So for the Wolves deployment, we have some Bloodclaws here ready to move on to the objective, plant a banner, then die. We have some Wolf Guard ready to push this flank with some attack bikes, suppressors in the backfield, because 48-inch range is great. Shooty Castle right in the middle, hoping outside of 24 inches from the Melta, so hopefully we don't die in 1 turn, maybe we die in 2. We got some Incursors, being brave, forward deploying up there. We have Librarian with some Wolf Guard. Ooh, rotating the camera the wrong way. We have a bunch of stuff in here. As you can see, Cyber Wolf, more Wolf Guard, Assault Intercessors, and the Speeder. And yeah, pretty aggressive deployment in terms of the Dreadnoughts. I didn't hold back much. I don't know if I'm hoping to go first or second. Let's have a look at Price's deployment. So we have, walk us through it.
So we got the Mephitic Blight Haulers. I've got 2 on this side. I've got 2 on the other side. Poxwalkers on this side. Plague Marines on this side. And then the Malignant Plaguecaster. So this is kind of a game of back and forth. I was trying to get Jamie to bait out his Redemptors. He had more drops than I did, so he held 1 and the multi-melta bikes till the end. But I was kind of just deploying evenly on both sides. Part of the strategy is here, I'm going to consolidate to one side with half my forces and move up, and then on the other, kind of just try to hold Jamie back. In the middle, we've got the drone. I put that out there, again, trying to just get him to commit one of his units. And then once I saw where the Redemptors were going down, then I put out the Contemptors, just kind of in the center, taking advantage of some of this obscuring terrain and his lack of movement. Then over here, I've got my characters. They're hiding in the building here. They're protected by the Deathshroud, so we can't pick these guys off. So they're kind of standing out in the open, threatening him a little bit. Got the Chaos Lord back here, a Lord of Contagion, and the other unit of Blight Haulers and the Poxwalker. So I'm going to spread some sickness back here, be a little cagey, and then draw him into the trap.
So you ready to do the roll-off? You can do it on camera?
Yeah, let's do it on
camera. You ready? On the blue little dice right here? Right here. Ready? I roll the 4.
I roll the 4.
Roll off again.
All right. And here we go. Dragons.
I roll the 1 and a 4. Death Guard go first. Did you want to go first?
I don't actually care. I think sometimes there's an advantage going second. So, but we'll see.
All right.
All right, here we are with the Death Guard. I won the roll to go first. I've learned a couple of games that sometimes I just need to be aggressive and move up. So I kind of came out of the box with everything. Still being a little cagey with the Contemptors. But if you bring the camera back over here. So we moved up the Blight Haulers. We did some measuring. We're out of multi-melta range, but I am in range of missile launchers if I want to take some pot shots. You can see the Redemptors around the corner over there. The Poxwalkers, they walked up. Poxwalkers walked up, and they're going to spread the sickness on this objective. I didn't really come out. If he wants to shoot at him, great. I moved up the Bloat drone there, basically just to kind of shield these guys, because he's got a chaplain back there with +1 to wound. So if he wants to blow that guy up, I'm perfectly okay with that. In the center, we see we got the Contemptors, and then we also ran some of the characters out just to put out some general buffs. We've got the Tollkeeper here. We've got the Revolting Stench Vats, because in case he wants to slingshot that Chapter Master, who's got 27-inch or 29-inch or 30 threat range.
31-inch threat.
He can just basically he's a Kraken Gene Stealer over there. That guy, if he wants to come in, that's fine. He can fight last. A Deathshroud moving up, and then again, just kind of mirroring the other side. Pushing up, I want him to come into my zone so that I can unleash the firepower.
All right, so end of Death Guard turn 1. We had the missile launchers over here fire at my Dreadnoughts. They didn't hit. Got a wound through with this drone, and then I passed 1 save against the missile launcher over here. So pretty aggressive turn. The Volkites are pretty safe. I do not believe I can get line of sight on them turn 1, which is unfortunate for the Space Wolves. I've got line of sight on like pretty much anything I want. If I can get the camera to work, there we go. Like my Dreadnoughts back here, they can see pretty well. The problem will be range, and then what do I shoot at, and do I bother shooting anything? Because everything's -1 damage, everything has invons, my high AP doesn't matter. It's kind of tricky to decide what I want to shoot at. So
yeah, and that's actually part of the strategy. So I pushed everything out so that it makes that decision harder on him, right? Do you shoot the Deathshroud? Do you shoot the Multi-Meltas? Do you shoot the Poxwalkers? Do you shoot the Bloat drone? Like, what are you really going after? So I put it all out there to make it hard. I just didn't want him to shoot the Contemptors.
Yeah. So I'm going to measure out some ranges, see what I can shoot at, see what can shoot back at me next turn, and we'll come back at the end of my movement phase. All right, so this is the end of movement for the Space Wolves. Attack bikes came around the corner. They have +1 a wound from the Chaplain, ready to shoot at these guys over here. We spent a CP on the Dreadnought to do Wisdom of the Agents for reroll 1 to wound around that front Dreadnought. They also have the attack bikes have the Chapter Master rerolls. I'm about to spend Keen Sense on them to ignore this forest. The idea is if I can kill these, and then these incursors here are just going to go nuts and charge these Contemptors, I can tag his firepower on this side to keep my Dreadnoughts alive for a turn. Maybe it pays off, maybe it doesn't. We're about to find out. Suppressors are planting a banner over here. Over here, some Wolfguard advance forward into the middle to get me Oath of Moment. I almost decided not to do Oath and decide not to get 3 points, but that was silly. We have Assault Incessors over here planting a banner on that objective. Wolfguard chilling back here. And then the Speeder moved up his 18 inches. And I'm thinking of charging these things. I don't know, because they have 6 attacks, damage 1 each, right? I don't know if I want to deal with that. We'll have to see. Depending on how this turn goes, I'll decide if they need to charge or not. We'll have to do Psychic Power. I'm going to cast Cover, see if that goes off around my Dreadnoughts. And... oh dear. Sorry about that. And then we'll do some shooting and we'll come back. Alright, so end of the Space Wolf's turn. I line up all my guns. Every single gun that I have in my army is right here. And I line it up to shoot at the... Mephitic Blight Haulers over here, and Price goes, ooh, -1 attack to every single weapon that fires at him. I'm like, crap. So that was problematic. I needed to fire every single gun that I had to kill him, and I killed him to the wound almost. Price rolled some good 5-up invons against my Plasma, but missed all the 5-up invons against the Melta, even though I only had 3. I rolled really well on the damage for 2 of them, killing 1 of the Blight Haulers. So lucky I actually got through there. And then over here, these Incursors charged the Volkite Dreads, and just tagged and based all of them, trying to mitigate how much firepower. The idea is by killing these 2 Blight Haulers over here, all my guns sitting right here and him being tagged over here means his return fire will be a little minimal, and I'll have 1 more turn of shooting before we go all in. That speed over there, ridiculous. Charges in, dodges all the Overwatch, eats a missile, only takes 2 damage. And then Price rolls his attacks, hitting on 3s, hits with everything, wounding on 3s, wounds with like 5 of them. And
live with 1 wound.
1 wound survives. And there's no strats to do mortals or anything like that. So those guys are tagged, which is going to save me a lot of return fire from the Meltas over there, because you'll have to fire into the Speeder. So very lucky, and let's see what Death Guard do.
Definitely a good turn for Jamie. So I'm going to have to take a turn and regroup. I've got to punish everything that's in my deployment zone. And then I might actually sacrifice this objective with these Poxwalkers and then flip the flank on him and go and work towards taking that next objective. If I can do that and turn the table Dawn of War on him, then I can outpace his dreads, or at least keep pace with him, and try and pick off all of his little squads. So we're going to see what I can do, and we'll see you guys at the bottom of my movement phase.
All right, so end of movement for Death Guard turn 2. So Price, walk us through your turn and your decision making.
All right, so Jamie pretty much had me boxed in, killed the Blight Haulers on this forward objective here. So I left the Poxwalkers there because he's probably going to kill me off of it anyway, but they'll absorb a little bit of his shooting. And then I fell back with the Dreadnoughts instead of shooting into combat. I just want the angle. I've got him boxed out, so I'm trying to block out his guns here. I've got position where I can charge and kill these guys with this guy. I'm going to shoot here. I've got the Flamer here. I've got these guys. They perform the action, spread the sickness. I lost a dude to mortal wounds. I've got the ability to smite. So I believe I can pick these guys up. I don't want to charge them, but if I have to, I will. But we're standing by. Also, we potentially were lined up where I might be able to bounce over this wall and jump on some of these Wolfguard guys over here and kind of put a little pressure on him. I'm not sure if I'm going to go that far. I might just play it cagey one more turn, but let's see what happens. All right, guys, here we are. We're at the end of Death Guard turn 2. As you can see, we killed those pesky incursors. We backed out with all the Dreadnoughts. We went over that in the movement phase, and the Foul Blightspawn got hot with his Flamer and just picked those guys up. And then over here, the Mephitic Blight Haulers, they shot into combat, knocking off the last wound of that Landspeeder Storm. Now, we had some discussion off camera. So the Deathshroud Terminators are actually only 7 inches away from these Wolfguard. And we did the math, and I've got plenty of attacks to kill those guys. But then I'm going to be kind of standing here in the middle of the table. So we're trying to decide, do I go in and I take away his Oath of Moment? So that's a point swing in my favor. Or do I stay back and protect my firebase? And I think I stay back for one more turn and I make him commit to me. I don't know if that's going to be a mistake in the end, but we're going to see how it plays out. So we'll see you at the end of Space Wolf turn 2 movement. Oh, let's go over the points right now. So it looks like the Wolves getting 10 for primary. Death Guard also got 10 for primary. He's got 2 for engage, 4 for oath. I've got 3 and 3 for spread the sickness towards the end. Didn't get grind him down. I did kill 2 units that turn. And we're trying to minimize losses. He's only killed 1 unit so far. So we'll pick it up at the bottom of Space Wolf movement 2.
All right, end of Space Wolf's movement for turn 2. Attack bikes move tier, touching the forest. Line of sight on these volkite dreads. We're going to try and pop that middle one. The idea here is to recreate turn 1. So I'm going to try and tag his firebase again. These Wolfguard over here are going to charge over into this drone, stay outside of heroic intervention of the Deathshroud and the character. And then they're gonna pile in and consolidate around to tag that Contemptor and then just die next turn, but it buys me one more turn. I need to deny him grind, so I need to get 2 kills. The idea is to kill these Poxwalkers over here and these Poxwalkers over here. And then these 5 Wolfguard are gonna charge over. I'm gonna charge those Bloat
Blight Haulers
and this Volkite over here on the objective, and hopefully contest it to put him on 5 primary. And hopefully that turn swings enough points that it gives me a points lead for the rest of the game.
So I want to point out a couple of little things. If you can zoom in over here on the character. So I made a few mistakes in positioning. Knowing that I can heroically intervene, I put these guys up here in the front. The problem is they're not quite spread out enough. I left a hole right here that he can pile in and consolidate and tag this guy. But if this character had been over just a little further, then I would have been able to block that. Same thing on the other side with the Poxwalkers. If you notice, they're strung out, but I did this to kind of bait him out. I wanted him to come out of the box over there. However, I still could have blocked this hole and made it a little more difficult for him to come in. So just little things on the movement. These are errors that are going to cost me big time this round.
So we'll do the psychic phase and the shooting, and we'll come back at the end of the turn. All right, guys, so we caught a bit of a mistake here. So before the game, we were playing our list, and we changed from Ferryman to Mortarion's Anvil, and we missed losing the, what's it called?
So the stratagem is for the on droning wings. This is, if you're playing Ferryman, you can boost the ability of one of your elite characters. So typically, you take the Foul Blightspawn, you boost his ability to negate everybody counting as charging, and also his Fight Last ability. You can choose one or the other. So I was going to boost out his ability, but we forgot that this only counts for Ferryman. So moving from Ferryman to Mortarion's Anvil, that gives me the ability to shut off all of his rerolls within 12 inches of this guy because I've boosted his contagion range. However, losing that means that you have to be much more careful with this guy positioning. So I was able to shut off his rerolls or his counts as charging here, but not all the way over there where these guys are. Yeah. And so, then if you'll notice all of these wound markers, that's because these multi-melta attack bikes came over here,
dun, dun, dun.
did some crazy shooting, and blew up this dreadnought who subsequently blew up and just did damage to everybody. So there's wounds galore. I've got Space Wolves in my back line. Yeah. This is a problem. We're about to go into we just ended the charge phase, and now we're going to go into the fight phase.
So this mistake over here with the Relic didn't come into play until now, and all we did was just fix his positioning. Instead of being behind the Dreadnoughts protecting them, he's now in front of the Dreadnoughts protecting them, stopping this unit's counting charged. And to fix my charge, I was outside of within an inch before, thinking I was not going to fight last, but now that he's there, all I do is base over here, which will still allow these guys to pile in 3 and consolidate 3 to tag this Dreadnought. So simple change, hasn't affected the game yet, but a good thing we called it already. All right, so end of turn 2. The Wolf Guard charged in. They were fighting last because of the Stench Vats guy.
They just fight as if they did not charge.
Yeah. So he gets to activate first. They were still able to tag this Contemptor. On this side, I didn't check my consolidates properly, so I was outside of 4 of that Dreadnought, so I had to spend a CP to consolidate 6 inches with my Wolf Guard. They went in, survived enough to control that objective, and now we're going into Death Guard turn 3. I've been able to shut down the firepower 1 more turn and deny him grind, which should be enough to keep the points lead. Price, you have any comments?
The comments are that I'm being totally manhandled by this list, and it's fantastic. The speed, the flexibility, the firepower, and the strategy. These big walls are, we're making them work to both our advantage. It's just the added mobility of his jump infantry, and the being tied down to having this fire base. That's a struggle. So we'll see if I can dig myself out, but it's certainly not looking good for the Death Guard. So here we are. We're at the bottom of turn 3, Death Guard movement phase. So I've fallen back with the Mephitic Blight Haulers, fell back with this Bloat drone. I moved the Deathshroud Terminators up here because he gave me this juicy little Cyberwolf here that's trying to get Oath a Moment. So I'm going to bounce off of this guy, hopefully, and then kind of head back towards this objective, if at all possible. I don't think that's really going to be able to happen, but we're going to see. I'm going to shoot into combat here. I'm going to shoot into combat there. I've given this guy the plus the 1 wound guy, the Toll Keepers +1 to hit. Sorry, I was blurry. Given the Toll Keeper guy to this guy +1 to hit, so he's going to be able to hit on 3s into combat. And then we are going to do some shooting and see what happens. Actually, we're going to go to the psychic phase. I've got the little psyker guy right here. We're going to cast some powers, so we'll come back in a little bit. All right, guys, here we are. We're at the bottom of the assault phase. We finished up Death Guard's turn. Remember, we fell back with these guys, so they didn't do anything. The Deathshroud Terminators, they went in, they killed that Cyberwolf, cleared out the middle, blocked his Oath a Moment, at least partially. And then over here, I shot into combat with a Dreadnought, blew up this squad. They died just barely. I shot into combat with this Dreadnought. Remember, there were 2 squads of 4 Wolfguard veterans there. Nothing really happened there, but then I charged in with my trench fighter, Plague Marines, and the Plague Flail went crazy and just murdered those guys in combat. So I've killed 3 units towards my grind them down. Probably going to be using command points to Cloud of Flies these guys, but I don't have a lot protecting them. And then I am moving up, trying to take the center a little bit, although I am vulnerable to his army coming and charging me through this wall. And I've got to get forward and try and claim this objective and start sealing some points, or at least fighting. I'm behind on primary. Jamie's playing a masterful game. We'll see what happens. All
right, we're at the end of Space Wolf's turn 3 movement. Those assault intercessors have moved up because I'm going to try and kill those blight haulers using this Contemptor who got the +1 wound from the chaplain, who can see him across the map and is the only thing that he can see, using these elves to obscure line of sight. And then we're going to see if he can kill him. If not, the intercessors will charge in. These attack bikes are going to get greedy and split fire between the 2 dreadnoughts. And over here, we're going to charge in my Armor of Rust. We're going to charge in my Armor of Rust into the Deathshroud to make him fight last, and then charge in both Redemptors. See if that works. Wolfguard also going to be going in. Oh, and the Chaplain needs to move up and charge in as well. And then the suppressors have stayed steady on that objective. And that is what we're going to try and accomplish this turn. So let's see how it goes. All right. So end of turn 3 for the Space Wolves. We charged everything into here. We started activating. Dreadnought goes in. 4 ones to hit. I can't reroll because of his Contagion. So he doesn't even kill one because he passes the Invon. Then the Wolfguard activates, the Chapter Master activates, the Librarian activates. I only killed 1. And then this Dreadnought activates and just killed the entire squad. And I got super lucky there, thank goodness. These guys over here got super greedy, split fired into the 2 Contemptors. Failed to kill this one, which was very unfortunate. And then this other one over here, I had to dedicate an entire Redemptor to kill it.
But it blew up.
It blew up again. That's 2 out of 2 Dreadnoughts blowing up a price.
So it blew up, and then when it blew up, it wounded everybody around it. It killed the Tallyman because he had taken mortal wounds from the first time it had blown up. So that was bad. And one thing, because we had that little misplay with a foul blight spawn, and it got tagged in combat last turn, it was totally out of position. So we're going to bring this around to the other side and show you where he's sitting. So I fell back from combat. Foul blight spawn is there. All this combat was here, just out of range of his ability. If I could have shut down all of his charging, then it would have absolutely changed how that combat. So just one misposition, it completely changed how that went down. So it's looking real grim for the Death Guard. I mean, I got guys here, a few guys here. He's dominating on primary. He's up by at least 15, 20 points. So it's not looking good, but we'll keep fighting and see what happens. Here we are, guys. We are at the Death Guard turn 4. So I moved the Blight Hauler up. His buddy died last turn. I'm going to see if I can't get him off this objective and try and steal this. Left this guy in combat. Just going to shoot in, see if I can keep these guys tied up. Ran up here also with the Blight Spawn. So Blight Spawn's going to try and put some wounds on here. Got the Contemptor lined up, so maybe he can help thin some guys out. Also, he's hiding around the corner. He can move forward here with a Contemptor and shoot me and blow me up, but hey, that's okay. Because I've got enough command points where I can Cloud of Flies. These Plague Marines, which spread the sickness here, unfortunately I did lose a guy, but I had run the Sorcerer back there in order to hold that objective just in case. And then this Lord of Contagion, he's going to run over here and eat these multi-melta bikes. So we're going to see what I can pull off moving into the psychic phase and then on to the shooting and assault. All
right, so we're here at the end of the charge phase for the Death Guard. And something cool came up, so we wanted to film it. This Chapter Master, although I'm on 0 CP, I'm going to spend the stratagem to the Heroic intervene 6 inches at 0 CP if it's a character, to Heroic into the Bloat drone. And then because I count as not having charge because of the Malefic, what's his name?
This is the Foul Blight Spawn.
The Foul Blight Spawn. Doesn't even matter. I get, that's right, I just Heroic. So I get to pile in around the drone and hit the, you just said his name.
Yeah, the Foul Blight Spawn.
So the Chapter Master is going to Heroic 6 inches that way and just orbit around to be able to hit him.
So he's going to come into
6 inches, not base him because he's based on here. And then he'll be able to go in and hit that guy over there.
Well, he's Heroic'd in, and then once we start doing our assaults, then we'll come back to this assault.
Exactly.
Death Guard turn 4 just finished. So we kind of had some last-ditch efforts coming after this. I'm all strung out here. However, I'm out of command points, so I'm not going to be able to protect these guys with Cloud of Flies. That's because I decided to use Flash Outbreak over here to try to minimize some of the damage. And I wanted to keep this Bloat drone alive and block all of his rerolls on this side of the table. It was just a crazy game over here. We went over the last turn what happened with this guy heroic in end. This kind of messed up my whole plan. But I did take this objective. I killed those guys. Cleaned this objective off. I'm technically holding this objective. And the Lord of Contagion went in like a boss and just picked up all of those multi-melta attack bikes by himself. However, this guy can fall back and charge with impunity. It's looking real bad. He's got a commanding lead, filling this in right now. I think, whoops, sorry about that. So it looks like he's got 10, 25, 35 on primary. He's leading on secondaries. Death Guard are coming in late. We might not play out the last round. We might just talk it out, but this has been a great game so far.
All right, so turn 4 for the Space Wolves. These Dread and Bloodclaws are coming to charge the Lord of Contagion. The Librarian is holding the middle for my Oath of Moment. Chapter Master fell back. The idea is to charge the Psyker and kill him. Over here, we're going to see if we can pop that volkite. We fell back onto that objective with the Wolf card, so we'll lose a point there for Oath of Moment. And then Dreadnought and Chaplain, the idea is to come over here and see if we can tag these two for at least one turn. And then the suppressors are going to provide some backfire chip damage. And then this volkite here is going to shoot across to the Plague Marines through the forest. Okay, so we just finished up turn 4. Space Wolves were able to go and kill the Lord of Contagion that was over here with the Dreadnought. Chapter Master went into the Psycho over here, and then this Dreadnought went absolutely crazy and killed the drone in combat. And then basically at the end of turn 5, I would have planted 2 more banners. The suppressors would move over there to plant that banner. So I would get 2 more points at the turn of my top of my turn 5, and then 5 points at the end for the banners. And we'll count up the scores and get back to you. All right, so this is the final score. We counted everything up. Final score is 87-34 for the Space Wolves. Great game. Loads of little interactions in between auras, heroic interventions, fight last, no rerolls. It swung pretty well towards Death Guard in turn 3 when I almost failed to kill the Deathshroud in the middle, but then one Redemptor just powered up, and that kind of consolidated the game for me. Price, you have any comments?
Nah, no comments. It was a great game. Learned a lot. The Contemptor Dreads, they struggle a little bit, especially into a list like this. All those Storm Shields, it's just really strong, rolling those 2-up saves. But, Jamie played a great game. We made a lot of little mistakes. We learned a lot. Super fun. So look forward to the next time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the game. Make sure to like, subscribe, share this with your friends, do all those fun things. You know it. And catch you in the next one.